Okay, back again to introduce my dear friend and former employee, Wendy. In 2014, our club nominated this local educator to become one of only a handful of prestigious Peace Fellows in Mexico. As a result, she traveled to Bangkok for 3 months of an intensive peace and conflict resolution course at the Rotary Peace Center. In 2017, under our Rotarian Tom Schneider's leadership and with the cooperation of the first Rotary Club in San Miguel, the nightclub, we built the largest peace pole in Mexico, here in Parque Juarez. If you haven't seen it, you have to. It's beautiful. It's been termed, in fact, the most beautiful peace pole in the world by people who just trot the globe and look at peace poles. Today, Wendy will remind us of the impact of Rotary Peace Fellows in the world, which she knows because she's engaged her peacemaking skills locally as well as internationally. With us, she's worked on our Cistern project. She's worked with Audubon and CEDESA and the Children's World Peace Organization in three countries, ISMA, Patronato Pro Niños, but as well with other places that we know she's been. She also facilitated the first National Global Peace Index's Pillars of Peace Conference, say that 3 times, for Mexican youth leaders. So please help me welcome our dear friend, Wendy Coulson, to the Rotary podium.
Well, she said everything, so maybe I'll just go. Can you hear me well? Okay, thank you so much. Let me get my, I feel really, maybe we're not here? No, went too far. And let's go back. All right. I feel very comfortable here and very honored. I don't see as many people as I knew back then, but I see a lot of smiling faces and some of the same projects. I'm so pleased. So my name is Wendy Coulson, and I have been a longtime resident of San Miguel, 20 years, although with big gaps outside, obviously, as Robin said. And I would really like to show you, it's not really about me, but I want to show you through my journey and my story how you need to nominate another person. Okay, in 10 years, I'm the only one from Mexico, and I'm not from Mexico. So just to get the ideas rolling for perhaps another initiative here. So that's what it's about. It's not about me. Let's get started. So how many people have heard of this phrase, peace begins with me? Robin is like, how many people believe it and act on it? Okay, good. We're getting a little lower. So especially in these times, it seems tumultuous about right now. I always think like, what can I do? And I tried, instead of hitting despair, maybe allow myself one day, but then move forward. What can I do? So professionally, this journey began for me, or for us, 10 years ago. The seed was planted. And let's learn a little bit about this. Okay. All right. So I'll take a little step back. Maybe some of you haven't even heard of the Rotary Peace Fellowship. Or maybe just heard of it. No, some people are like, Okay, let me tell you about it. Here's a couple of fuzzy pictures I took. So the Rotary Peace Fellowship, actually Robin pretty much introduced it. For 3 months, you study peace and conflict resolution studies. Now there are master's degrees Peace Fellows can take, but I'm talking about Rotary Peace Centers. So we have professors come during the 3 months, maybe 1 or 2, different topics every week. The 2 professors are in the back. From our first week, we have topics such as gender and peace, sports and peace, self-care. You can imagine people who are really working in the field need to concentrate on that. We had media, their influence on peace and conflict, and some topics that were a little over my head, reintroducing former combatants into society. So here we are at the Peace Center. We have people from all over the world, from India, Sri Lanka, Palestine, Afghanistan, Indonesia, Canada. I'm just looking at the people in this picture on the right. So doing a little dynamic. We also, just to give you a flavor of the course, we have 2 field trips where we go to conflict sites, one national in Thailand. We went to the border with Cambodia. There's a disputed border there. And there's a UNESCO World Heritage Temple in that disputed area. So visiting those places, talking with communities, seeing their process. And we have an international one, field trip. We went to Nepal. So that's our arrival in Kathmandu. Yeah, wow, it was amazing. For 8 days, we were in Kathmandu and Pokhara, and we looked at their peace, post-Civil War peace process. So we talked in Kathmandu with a lot of government organizations, and then in Pokhara, a lot of NGOs. And at the time, they didn't even have a constitution, 20 years after the Civil War ended. So that's our arrival. And at the end, we have to do, and one of our professors, we worked on a conflict analysis. So we had to write a paper. It's a proper course, like master's, PhD level, and present it in a public presentation. I did mine on creative youth responses in San Miguel to the aftermath of Ayotzinapa in 2014. So I spoke to a lot of youth leaders about their creative responses to what was happening. Okay, so here we go. So Mexico was present in Bangkok at that time. So basically, in a nutshell, so how do you get to be a Rotary Peace Fellow? Basically, this is a breakdown. I got this from the Rotary website of the areas in which we work before and after. Actually, I was a bit surprised by this because it says 24%, you probably can't see it, are in non-governmental organizations. I didn't see that in our cohort of 21 people. I'm in this gray area of 18% as an educator. I also didn't see a big reflection. And on the other side of the donut, there's law, business, law enforcement, military. There's some heavy hitters in our cohort. We had a police chief from Mumbai who won a medal for his bravery in terrorist attacks there. And we had a colonel in the Pentagon and a lawyer in the Canadian government and little old me. So this is a breakdown. Okay, and here's my arrival there. How did I get there, and what's the impact that you have on me and what I'm about to tell you? So I was working with Robin on the Children's World Peace Organization as a curriculum developer and teacher trainer, and we had people in Kenya and Nepal that I got to meet when I had the field trip. It was amazing. And you also have to have worked in peace. So in those areas, but kind of directed towards peace for 5 years. Of course, there's a stringent application process, and the club has to nominate you. In some countries, this is highly competitive. It's not here, so do it, okay? In India and Kenya, it's like a really rigorous interview and more steps to be able to do this, okay? I must say, I felt a little bit over my head at times, talking about reintegration of combatants, having... I gesticulate a lot. That's bound to happen. And we talked a lot about conflict. And so I didn't find myself there, but I'm being vulnerable. I'm going to put this together later, Diego. Don't worry about it. But no, don't worry about it. ¿Lo quieres reparar? Ay, no sé. No, está bien. Okay. So I felt a little lost. I'm going to admit that to you. It was a bit over my head with some of these topics because I work with NGOs, I work with teachers, very grassroots, as you're going to see in a bit. But since I was there, I had to carve out and find my voice. And this is a phrase. I don't know which professor said this, but this is something that was like a foundational concept. Super easy, but foundational for me. So there's no peace without development and no development without peace. You guys got this with your projects. But for me, previously being an English teacher and working in a Waldorf school and working with Robin, I felt a little bit lost in these development projects. So that we need to find that balance. And for me, I found peace in the education piece, to use both words. And I worked on this stellar project. See if you recognize it. You know this manual? Yes, Carla knows. Okay, this is one of the most stellar projects I've ever worked on, and I've worked on some amazing projects. And you should applaud yourselves every day. I'm sure you do. Lee is freaking amazing. And CEDESA and everything, because this is a good example. And I've even heard from other international consultants that have told me that this is exemplary, this, at least this manual. I don't know if they've seen the education program. So what is it about it that makes it peaceful, these projects? I mean, I think your four-way test is pretty much spot on. So when with this statement here, I carved out for myself, I combed my notes after, because I'm like, what is it? What is there for me? What is there for me? What can I work on? And I carved out some peace principles. I'm not going to show you them all here, but what I found in this project and what I kept in mind is agency and the knowledge in the hands of the beneficiaries. These are all simple concepts, but we have to keep them in the front of our minds, especially when we added this education piece, and Lee can correct later. I'm not sure if I remember everything, but he had this project going like 5 years before we did the education piece through Rotary. Okay, so you do the math. I did have 2 coffees, but I don't know. Anyway, but we went, he said he went back to the communities, and some weren't using the cisterns. They were drinking the contaminated water, and found a need for an education piece. And I was called in to work with CEDESA, the local partners. So we have worked with local knowledge, water in the communities, agency, that they make decisions. We're not this. The old model is the sage on the stage, kind of feeding the information, but the new model is, and it has been, facilitating, okay? And having access to the information, not just the teacher, right? So this manual is actually written at a 5th, 6th grade level in large print so that the children from the communities can actually read it. And I remember visiting one community, Otomi community, I don't remember the name, where everybody had that problem with their teeth. And they said, oh my God, our water is poison. Why didn't you tell us? And we're like, that's the problem. We did tell you, but you didn't, we didn't show you. You didn't discover and appropriate this knowledge to make your own decisions in your community. It's a subtle difference and tweaks, but it makes a great impact. Okay, so thank you. And so as Robin said, I also worked outreach with ISMA, worked with Nori, in some public health with dentists, the education piece on those, keeping these same principles in mind. Okay, so when that work kind of stopped, I went back to my first love, was English language education. So I also had to carve out something there, and luckily I found the U.S. Department of State. You can ask questions about the fate of that later, but here's me in Washington, D.C., ready to go off on another fellowship, which I believe the Peace Fellowship was an accelerator of getting me here. Thank you. So you see how this is rippling out. My perspective is widened, what I can do. I'm coming armed with peace principles from the fellowship and bringing it into my area, which is English language education. So I was working in Medellin, Colombia for 10 months and working in a binational center funded with a lot of funds from the U.S. Department of State and the Bureau of Cultural and Educational and Cultural Affairs, which is under the chopping block right now. So, ready to go off there? And this, so you can see from the piece, brought me here. I don't know if you can see very clearly, but so what I do is called, at least at the government level, not in my heart, but soft diplomacy. Are you familiar with that term? Yeah. So basically, send Americans out, do cultural things, education things. Yay, USA, right? Because I worked in Uzbekistan here. Russia has a big influence. This is not my plan. It's the government plan. But I'm lucky to have met these people because it's a true cultural exchange. Training teachers, cream of the crop, training of trainers, Uzbekistan. Wonderful environmental project with tourism educators in Chiapas. Love them. That was 2023. In Colombia, in the jungle, speaking at a conference. And in India, working with the Sustainable Development Goals. And the last two projects I worked on, Turkmenistan with British Council, and Kazakhstan with also through British Council. So this is just, it keeps getting bigger. So thanks to you. I've also worked for Department of State and specialist programs in Tunisia and in Jordan. All right, so for me, it's the cultural exchange. People really want to know you. I hear some kind of echoes of cultural appropriation and things in the US that I leave in the US because people are so happy that you visit their cultural sites, that you wear the sari for the picture, that you cover your head when you go to their holy sites. They want to practice their English like these lovely students in Colombia. Want to know about your culture, Thanksgiving. They just want to eat it all up, and you learn so much from them that's in your toolkit and have perspectives from all over the world. These kids right here are the most incredible group of kids I've ever met. When they were special scholarship, and my friend, the teacher on the right, they go back to their communities and they do projects. These kids are all over the world now. I'm still in contact. So you see there's second, third level ripples. I don't feel like I'm in the center of this, but we're all touching each other and rippling out. We get this exchange. So for me, this is amazing. So here teaching the cha-cha slide in Kazakhstan to teachers, a line dance. My British colleague taught them Old Lang Syne, their tradition for the New Year. Invited me to an Indian school just to see what she did, and I think just for the selfie. Here I am being welcomed into an Uzbekistan school. Has anybody been to Uzbekistan? Out of control hospitality. You've never seen it. Never. Go. So they're receiving me just for a simple school visit. It's just very humbling and wonderful. And everybody wants you to visit. And visiting the Golden Temple in Punjab. Very important things to do while you're there. Be interested in their culture. And the third effect of going out and practicing peace through English language through Department of State is this. You don't stop learning. So it might begin with the Rotary Peace Scholarship, the fellowship, continues with the fellowship in Colombia, and then this is me receiving and with my wonderful Indian colleagues last year, receiving a professional development certificate from the Earth Charter Institute, which is housed at the UN University in Costa Rica, which I had the good fortune to visit, but it was an online course. But I received, gosh, I'm just going to ruin this thing. I received my certificate while I was in the course, and my culminating project was this Education for Sustainable Development course that we were trying to meld with the Indian National Curriculum. I think to great results. So, amazing. I love India. You've been to India? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Probably not Bangladesh, though. Okay. So, and then that led to global citizenship. So you can see these are all up-to-date sort of certifications, what's going on in the world, taking a course in AI as well. But and then that led me further to the SDGs. But more importantly, what I'm studying right now is the inner development goals. If we don't change the chip, we're not going to get to any of those. So deeper and deeper and deeper into the root of peace, where I can be more effective. So that's that. And I like this quote, and maybe you wonder what it has to do with this, but I will make it fit. So the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is? So the best time to nominate a Rotary Peace Fellow was 10 years ago. The second best time is? Today. Okay. This is my petition for you. I'm trying not to be like me. It's for you to nominate someone else. And who might that be? I wonder if your mind landed on somebody as we were talking about this. Maybe Carla. Maybe somebody in Rotaract. Maybe someone in an NGO here. Maybe this person that's nodding their head. Somebody from this club. We had retired people in our cohort. A peacemaker in Cameroon was the oldest person in our cohort there. Okay, so let your mind settle on some maybes and maybe talk to Lee. I would be glad to brainstorm this with you. I'm an idea person as well. And I would love to work with Lee again. Okay, so that's it for me. I thank you very much, and I think I broke it officially. Well, it just says thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions, comments? Yeah. Good question. Right now, as we speak, the budget of the Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs may be cut substantially by 93% if it passes, which is a crying shame. Crying shame. So soft diplomacy seems to be done. If I thought our institutions were stronger than that, I have more faith that we will survive. We survived the last rain, and so I hopefully this one as well. So what I'm up to now, I'm kind of looking in the for-profit sector and publishing companies because I gotta earn my living. But as you heard, I just finished the project in Central Asia. We're waiting for funds from the British Council, but they also have a right-leaning government, so their budgets are getting cut. We're waiting to hear from that, but I'm looking. So yeah, so I'm hoping it's a good time to reinvent myself and use my creativity in other ways. We'll see. Thank you for the question.
What effect do you think the 10% pay increase for school teachers in Mexico is going to have? Is it too little?
Oh, I was not prepared for that question, but I think anybody who can get better remunerated for their work is always puts a smile on their face. I don't know what that percentage means. I'm kind of out of touch. I did work in schools here, but in the private sector because I'm a foreigner. But I don't know. I'm a bit ignorant of that. But I think anytime people can be more justly paid for their work and be heard, I feel. Oh, how fabulous! So, thank you for that. Yeah.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you for propagating peace around the world. It's wonderful.
I'm trying.
I have a master's in war, master's degree in warfare, basically. And one of the questions that we always ask, which is very similar to what you did, is peace or war is within the person. That is where conflict starts, right? So it's interesting to see that both what we figure is the opposite always starts in the same place, which is the one person. I agree with that, and it's very interesting to note. Because we always ask, is peace the absence of war? What is peace, right? So we have to ask questions as individuals as to where it is that we want to go. And for example, the development quote is very interesting because without peace, there is no development. Without development, there is no peace, right? The same actually could be said of war, which is development as we know it these days. A lot of people would argue development causes conflict. So if it causes conflict, it could cause war. So anyway, the two things go hand in hand, and it's something that we have to be very familiar with and understand so that we as an individual are able to address that and become better people, right? That's all I wanted to say. So thank you for your piece.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. I didn't want to make this about me, but I had a Rotary scholarship in Aberdeen, Scotland, where I did my master's degree in strategic studies. So it's sometimes. So it's all about Rotary.
Interesting. No, and I'm not trying to dog this other organization, but I remember when I was working with Lee and CEDESA, there were other people also, because there is a great need for the cisterns, just giving them donation. And that's an old model. Not to say these people had any malice in their heart, but this is a very antiquated model that doesn't give power to the community, just giving out. So as you know, the water cistern project is a community project, has an education piece, it's monitored, it's updated. Lee, CEDESA, the local partners really spent a lot of time. So just giving things out can create some kind of conflict, as you said. And interesting enough, I made good friends with the colonel in the Pentagon, and she, one time during the session, and you can see that how I was so lost, she put her fist down, she was tough, and she said, "I already studied war, where's peace?" And I was like, amen, sister. Because I just felt like we're not talking about peace. And I wondered if we could separate the military people, the lawyers, very important, but do the not-profit sector, the softer diplomacy, the grassroots development. I didn't find so much of that. And I was in heaven when we visited Pokhara in Nepal, because it was all not-for-profits. And I was like, this is my people, like all the initiatives that we saw there. Because I believe, yeah, it begins with us, and it begins with these personal initiatives in community. So it made me think of that too. All right, they talk to you.
No, okay. So what is the process now? How long does it take? What do you do?
No idea.
Do you have to speak English?
Yes.
It
you have
seems to me
speak
that you
English.
had to be
My,
fluent.
I interrupted you, please.
No, go ahead.
Chulalongkorn Peace Center no longer exists. It was closed. I don't know if it's open yet, but they're opening one in Turkey. They're being more strategic about it. Okay, January. So there you go. Go to our president and our future president. Check out the website. I'll investigate it. I just felt like I just wanted to get the ball rolling. You went through the process of nominating me. I don't know how that happened, Tom, as well. I don't know, but I'd be willing to investigate, talk with y'all.
From the time we nominated you until you actually went over there, how long was that?
I remember I was applying in the fall before I went in January.
So not very long.
No.
And you
But
went,
like I said, in other countries, so I'm imagining the process is the same. It's still not too competitive. I know a few. Actually, there's another Peace Fellow that's living here, but she was nominated by I think from the U.S. or
yeah,
something.
and
but
you
she-
were gone for 6 months.
3.
3 months. Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
The
That's
3 months
longer.
program.
Okay.
I traveled afterwards. But
And what about the Rotary Peace Scholarships they're actually full master's degrees, right?
right.
Do you know anything?
I think she knows better than I do. It says Japan, Sweden, UK. There was one in Australia and the US.
That's
I
a
believe.
2-year master's degree program.
Yes.
And how do those people get chosen?
I believe they don't have to be nominated by a club because they have to actually have the scores to get in, the essays. They have to be accepted by the university as well as Rotary.
So there are different ways to go.
Right. So the website, I didn't put it. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
But I just felt you know.
Yeah, and I think a person who's interested in getting a master's degree in any of the areas of focus can be supported by a Rotary Club through a global grant. So there are many ways for people to get education and opportunity through Rotary.
I've been trying to drag somebody from here, from this club, but all the information is in the page called Rotary Positive Peace Academy.
Okay.
And they have free courses that everybody can do in, supposedly it takes a month, but if you like really concentrate yourself, you can finish between 3 or 4 days because they have really accessible, so you can listen the classes and the readings instead of reading, and the chat groups is really easy because they can send everything, all the feedbacks and the conversation and the discussion, and they have a lot of things in the positive peace, which is something that you were talking, Robert. It's not about talking the absence of war. It's about what means positive peace and what are the index, the effects in the country. And they have a course in English to specialize in Latin America, and they have a gender relating with, actually, Meche from CEDESA, we work together about doing how gender impacts in the sustainability and like all these green topics. And they have a great group. And all the courses are for free, and you just, through my Rotary with your account, you can sign in, and it's like really easy to access. The name is Rotary Positive Peace Academy. And if you want to apply for any masters or the specialization, you have to do one course that they have there. It's about 40 hours.
Thank you. No, I didn't know about that. So here, you got all the information here.
You said one of the areas that you studied when you were there was gender peace.
Gender and
Mexico is not doing well. What has
to study.
what has to happen in Mexico to get rid of femicide?
Oh my goodness, I'm leaving right now. These are questions I really don't feel I can answer, but I do believe that, individual initiatives, I don't think we should wait for government to solve these things. It's our sisters, it's our aunts, could be your daughters. So I think we need a grassroots response, but
I agree.
don't ask me another question. Yes, I do. It's amazing. Gail has told me about it. You have the solution there. So maybe presenting to other clubs about this. There's Rotary clubs, in the north and. Answer to the question.
That's a long answer.
Well, it is long term. Like I'm taking this inner development goals, the UN SDGs, right? The Sustainable Development Goals. They're pretty, just like this mural, but it's going to take forever. It's a really long, thank you. Now we have language to talk about it. But until we change the chip, it ain't going to happen. We're already in a big hole. Hate to sound doom and gloom. But these things, these initiatives, they start one day, 20 years ago for the tree. We got to start now. And they have to be, I believe it's community and they're individuals like this, he said. So I think you have all the answers there. Thank you, though, for the challenge.
Wow, thank you so much. It's great to remember all the things we've done over the years and so forth. We are having a Rotary Board meeting immediately following, and I hope everybody has a great week and look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.